Hello everyone. I hope you all are doing well. Welcome to lecture series of machine learning. Now that we understand that why machine learning is important, because we already studied this in the previous video of importance of machine learning, right? We learned that why we learn machine learning. So we have already discussed about the importance of machine learning. Now let's answer the most important question, that is, what exactly is machine learning? So what is machine learning? In this lecture, we will discuss few examples and we'll try to understand the definition of machine learning. Okay, so let's get started with simple example. Suppose you have never tasted a mango before, and one day you eat a mango and realize that, oh wow, it is sweet. So then you eat another mango and again you find it sweet. So after trying many mangoes, your brain automatically learns. What learns? It automatically learns a pattern that mangoes are generally sweet. So this pattern is there in your brain. So next time when someone gives you a new mango, so even before eating it, you already have an expectation in your mind, in your brain, that okay, this mango should be sweet and yummy, right? So why this happened? Again, the same thing, because you learn from your past experience. Your brain understand that pattern, that okay, mangoes are generally sweet. Similarly, machine learning works. So machine learning works in this manner only. Instead of learning from experiences like we human beings, machine learns from the data. We will also walk about. We will also sorry. We will also talk about how machine can learn from the experiences. But there is a different term they use instead of the experience. So pattern is a actual term. So machine learns from the data, correct, but actually machine learns from the pattern of the data, that which type of data it is. So different pattern it learns. So that we will see gradually in the next coming slides in different examples, right? So human learns from experiences and machine learns from the data. So here we have a technical definition of machine learning. Let's read it once. Machine learning is a technique that enables computers to learn patterns from data. So keep this in mind, patterns from data. So just like we human, we understand experiences, we learn from the experiences. Similarly, machine learns from patterns from the data and make decisions or predictions without being explicitly programmed for every situation. Now you can correlate our both the examples. The first one was, if you remember that dog example, that how a kid learns that who is dog and who is cat, right? So it learns from the patterns experiences, and then it predicts that okay, this is or give the decision that okay, from among all the domestic animals, this is a dog. Similarly, in the previous example we discussed about the mango. So your brain took the decision that okay, and of course it predicts that okay, mango should be sweet. So it learned from the patterns which you experienced, and similarly machines also learns from patterns from the data. Of course we will discuss about this being explicitly programmed, the meaning of this sentence, but later on. So as we go ahead in this journey, we will take one word, two words in that particular lecture, and we will understand the definition and the technicality of machine learning. So I hope this is clear now, that machine learns from the patterns from the data. Let's talk about some another example. Let's say, imagine you own a bookstore, and for the last 5 years, you have maintained records of all the book sales. And you notice that students normally prepare for exams, usually, they prepare for exams, and at that time, they buy certain types of books, right? And in specific months, because normally some exams, there is specific months from the specific exams, right? So after observing this data for years and years, now you are able to predict that okay, this book or which books may be in high demand for the next month, right, based on the time and everything. So why you could do this? Because you had studied the data. So this prediction is based on your past data. And similarly, machine learning does exactly the same thing, but of course much faster and on a much larger scale, because human being cannot do on that large scale, right? So this is the another example. So see, this way machines can learn from the data and the different patterns of the data. Okay, so let's take a different domain. Suppose a hospital has a record of thousands of patients, and normally we know that this type of records means patient's record normally contains information such as age, symptoms, blood test reports, results, and diagnosis, and etc. Right? So, by studying these records, a machine learning system can find patterns from the data that may help doctors identify diseases on an earlier stage, right? So this is the one of the biggest advantage of machine learning, we can say, that it helps us to identify the diseases on an early stages. So it is simply learning patterns from historical data, right? So this is not this is this the machine is not magically becoming intelligent. It becomes gradually, it becomes intelligent gradually, right? It is simply learning from patterns from the historical data. Okay, now let's take some completely different example. Let's take a example of agriculture side. Imagine a farmer, and the farmer has data about the rainfall. Also, it has the data of temperature, soil conditions, and crop productions altogether, right? So because he has all this data from the previous years, so now by analyzing this data, a machine learning model can predict which crop may give better results in a particular season, right? So again, a machine is learning from the previous information. So this is one more example of the another example of from the agriculture domain. Okay. Now let's talk about yourself. So now think about your smartphone keyboard. Have you noticed that while typing, it often suggests the next word, right? And sometimes it even predicts exactly what you are about to type. So the question is how your phone knows that what you are going to type, right? So how does it do that? Actually, it has learned patterns from millions of typing examples, and then it uses those patterns to make the predictions. So it is as simple as that. Okay, now we have one more example from the manufacturing side domain. So, suppose a factory, a bulb making factory, bulb manufacturing company factory, and this factory manufactures thousands of light bulbs every day, and some bulbs are good, and while some may be defective, right? So what machine learning does here, so by studying different images and quality reports from the previous products, a machine learning actually can learn to identify defective bulbs automatically, again based on the previous data, because it has different images of the bulbs and different quality reports it has. So based on that, it can predict, it can identify actually the defective bulb. So it becomes very easy actually, and yes, it saves time and reduce human efforts 100%. Now look at this, all these examples we discussed. So in all these examples you may think that all the examples are different, correct, different examples, but there is one common thing in all of them, and that is data. So first we had book data, then hospital data, then agriculture data, then typing data, and factory data. So actually machine learning is actually a game of data only. Okay, so now we know that machine learning, machines learn from the data. So in now whenever you hear the term machine learning, just think of three simple steps, keep this in your mind. The first step, what actually machine does: first, it collects the data, so it has collected data. Second, it learns patterns from the data. And the third, it uses those patterns to make the predictions or the decisions. That's it. So there are only three simple steps: first, data, patterns, and predictions. As simple as that. So this is the core idea behind the machine learning, right? So now if somebody asks you what machine learning is, so you can I think you can give a very simple answer, right? That machine learning, what is machine learning? Machine learning is a method that allows computers to learn from data, identify patterns, and make predictions and or decisions, and without being explicitly programmed for every possible situation. Of course we will discuss this in detail later on, but remember that example we discussed about, that when you wake up in the morning and YouTube starts recommending different YouTube videos based on your choice and interest and searches, right? So nobody has programmed the software or the system for your choices, right? So it is not explicitly programmed. So it is learning from data, then it identifies particular pattern, and then it make predictions. Okay, so as we move forward in this course, we will learn exactly how machines perform this learning process and what different techniques are used to make it happen. So, let's continue our machine learning journey and see you in the next video. Till then, bye bye, take care.